What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Citywide. We're talking about a little bit of everything here. Got the guy Josh with me. CJ's stuck at work. One of these, I was talking to John. One of these days, all three of us will finally be here again. Besides the first episode, it'll happen. Listen, life just gets in the way sometimes. You know what I mean? Josh, how
Yeah.
we feeling?
Uh, well, since the last show,
Oh yeah.
I am a proud
Oh,
owner of a PS5 now,
oh yeah.
and I'm loving
I
it.
hit the upgrade on the P5.
The Xbox One I had was so close to hitting a decade. Christmas 2015 was when I got it, or 20, however that year would work. This Christmas would have been a decade. That thing is now in retirement in the Hall of Fame. It's got its gold jacket. It's watches end of the
So
PS5.
you made the switch. You made the switch, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna go because when the college football game came out, well, first off, I was a PS3 guy, and then I got an Xbox One. So I was originally PlayStation all growing up until the
Well, I feel
Xbox.
like the natural evolution was PS2 to Xbox 360, and then a lot of people went back to the PlayStation. I
Yeah.
stuck Xbox.
See, me and my brother growing up, like if he had one thing, like I could not also have that. So he got the 360, and I was like, I kind of want one, and he's like, dude, you can't have a 360. I have the 360. So I wound up getting a PS3. It was
See,
always like that with our WWE action figures. Oh my god, I was really only allowed to have like John Cena and Jeff Hardy. he took all the others.
I mean, you got like the best ones then.
Right, so I wasn't complaining too much, but he's the older brother, so he always found a way to win those matches rigged. But even when you're on the mountaintop playing college football, sometimes your teams just find a way to make you hate everything, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But we're all right. We're all right. How are you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Why not? Why not?
Absolutely. I'm excited for fall weather, man. Hoodie season is it's the
Yeah,
best
hoodie
time.
season is upon us. I mean, it's a little
It's the best.
getting a little chilly over here in NY
Hmm.
during the night, especially, which is great. Sleep with the window open still because it's not like 900 degrees.
Right. Yeah.
But it's been good. It's been a good time. Um, let's get into something. Let's get into some things because I know you're gonna have to run here. Listen, we said we talk about a little bit of everything. I mean, UFC. What was that? UFC no chain. But what is it technically? Was that 30?
306.
Damn, that was 306 already. Holy shit! I thought we were at like 303. God damn.
Nah, there were a couple stinkers after 300. Because we had like back to back pay per views with like one was a women's title fight and
Yeah,
nothing
that
but
was
ups and downs.
306. Yeah,
Yeah, they after
305 was
300.
305 was Duplessis and Adesanya. 304 was Edwards and Muhammad.
This fight card was good though up until the co-main and main.
Listen,
Like the
I tweeted it out, and like I said in the tweet, I don't care what people say. You wrestling and all that is a part of UFC, and I completely understand that. Like it's a great skill and all that. Does not take away from the fact that it's the most boring thing you're ever going to watch.
absolutely, absolutely.
Like
Like you can
it's just
appreciate the
awful.
grappling, but it is boring, and it
No,
is
I don't
the
even
UFC
appreciate it.
did not get big because people were grappling for title fights. They
No, if I
got
wanted,
big because of
listen, if I
knockouts.
wanted to see that, I would go watch college wrestling or
Right.
something that I need.
Yeah, no, that was a tough watch for the co-main and main, especially because of how crazy the prelims and all the fights leading up to it were getting.
I mean, it was just a brutal watch. And I'm a big, like I said, I'm a big. I was locked in. I was hoping, I was kind of hoping the main event didn't go that way, but obviously that was what a lot of people thought would happen, just because the style matchup. But
It was
I was
weird,
just
it's very weird how Sean was handling that fight because against Aljo, like when he caught him, like Aljo wasn't shooting, he was like entering with like an overhook when Sean caught him. But even when Marab was just kind of getting close, Sean just looked like he panicked. Like he just kind of let him do whatever rather than throwing a counter to make him hesitant. It didn't look like the sugar we all know out there, which bummed me out because he's my second favorite in the UFC. Shout out the
yeah.
assassin.
I mean now it's rough because now you got um. Oh, well, I don't know how to say how you say his last name. Davalishvili.
Marab
that.
Valishvili, something like that.
Oh, shit. Whatever.
Marab.
You got him and you got Bilal Muhammad, both wrestlers as
And
champions.
Islam. I mean, Islam's entertaining, but if he's not getting Volk, we don't know what that's going to look like.
Yeah, listen, I hate to tell you, I'm not locked into that.
No, like I'm gonna watch it, and
no, I'm watching because I'm an idiot and I have nothing better to do. Right. But like, am I happy about it? No,
absolutely.
I think you're lying. I think you're genuinely lying to yourself if you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm locked in. I want to see some good wrestling tonight on the UFC." No, you don't. Stop lying to yourself. Either that or you're a tryhard. You're trying too hard to be a little bit different.
Appreciate it, but you can also hate it at the same time.
I just think you're trying too hard. If you genuinely sit there and you're like, "Oh yeah, I love it," all right.
No, you don't. You're not in the UFC. That's not your training partner. You don't have to support it like that. You're a fan just like us. We want to see knockouts.
I am there to watch somebody me. I want to see like the little Tweety birds flying around their head.
I need flying knees, Superman punches, spinning back fists. Like that's what
turn into a WWE match for all I care for.
And if you're gonna take them down, ground and pound. Don't just lay on them. At least give us some punches.
Yeah, like Valentina was rough, and I love Valentina.
Yeah, me too.
Like going into that fight, like she's always there to knock somebody out. She's got some hands to her.
Yeah, that was a tough one. That was unexpected tough watch. I thought that was going to have a lot more.
Because I mean, like you said, the difference is if you're going to take somebody down, at least ground and pound. That was literally 5 rounds of laying on top of each other.
Yeah. One, and it wasn't even like a back and forth. Grasso had nothing, no answer.
No, literally did nothing, and you could tell she was pissed.
Yeah,
which I always find funny. Like, you should know that this stuff is going to happen. Get it together.
I know. I just had my hopes very high for Sugar to put Marab's lights out, but I should have known. When you get a guy with he didn't look tired once during that fight.
No, not even a little bit.
No, and I don't even know if in that 5th round when Sean landed those body kicks, I don't even know if those were real reactions or him still messing with them. I think that was him.
What I want to know, well, actually, no. I lied because I completely understand it. And you're also talking, and I'm also the one sitting here talking as if I'm not some fat, out of shape, never been in a fight person in my life. But like Sean, for example, or Grasso, right? And I completely understand how idiotic this is going to sound for me. I 100% I understand this. So don't listen. You don't got to come after me. You're down 4 rounds to nothing. Don't you think in the 5th round you would just charge forward and start swinging?
Absolutely. I don't understand the mindset of wait for your shot. Like, bro, you tried 3 rounds waiting for your shot.
Yeah,
you never came. You gotta go get the shot. Yeah.
Your shot was not there, pal.
The chance for being patient is over. If you don't want to lose the belt, go after him.
And I mean, listen, like I said, it's a lot easier to sit here,
right?
My cozy little room,
right?
When I don't have some trained assassin across.
When the threat of ourselves not
the threat of me being knocked out. Listen, the only knockout I'm going to have is if I fall asleep watching the fight because I knocked out.
My brother actually did fall asleep after the Diego Lopez fight. And he saw he won his parlay. I'm like, how'd you luck out that good? You didn't have to watch the 2 boring fights and your parlay?
And you won. Yeah, no.
Lucked out.
But, I mean, like you said, I completely understand how stupid it sounds. Like, oh, yeah, just run after him. Try and knock him out. Yeah. Like, what do you got to lose? You get knocked out? At least he got knocked out.
Especially a guy like Sean. A guy like Sean, that just seems like that would be something he would do. Like, well, if I'm going to lose it, I'm going to go out in style. But
unfortunately, this is why I respect Justin Gaethje.
Yeah. Shout out Gaethje, Chandler.
I mean, he knew he was losing. He knew he was losing that Max Holloway fight. And Max told him to stand in the middle. He said, you know what? Screw it. I will stand in the middle. Got absolutely demolished. Slumped.
Who's Max fighting? Is Max fighting?
Is he not fighting Ilya?
Ilya. I was going to say Islam, but I was like, no chance. Who's the other champ? I couldn't think of Ilya. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
But Gaethje was like, you know what, screw it. I'm down. He invited me to the middle. I'll just do it, see what happens. He got knocked out. That moment will live on forever. But at least he did it. Because what happens if he connected with one of those punches and Max went to sleep?
Then that was a terrible decision by Max. Terrible all around. But he's a man of the people. He knows what the sport is about.
But, yeah, definitely. And I mean, I will say, though, I know Dana said it's a one and done for the Sphere. That was so fire to watch.
It was so even not being at the Sphere, it looked so
No,
cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like, obviously we're not there, but watching on TV and like just the highlights from it, especially like from the people that recorded it inside, the Sphere looks insane.
That annoys me. That annoys me so much.
What?
Seeing people recording it while they're at the Sphere, like that kind of annoys me, man.
Why?
Like I'm gonna look at this spectacle through my phone when I'm at the spectacle.
Josh, don't
like
you're sounding a little bit like an old man right now.
I know, I hate it. I know, I hate that.
No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. Like how difficult. I can hold the phone right here.
That's what annoys me. They weren't doing that. I saw so many people when they were panning the camera like this.
Like well, yeah, but even if you do this, you don't have to be looking through the phone.
But you're still focusing at the phone. Like the phone is on your mind. Like right. I remember the first time it got me so mad was when Giannis had the block at the end of the Bucks Sun series, and there was someone on the sideline recording it. I'm like, why? You're at the event. You're there. We're supposed to see you there.
I mean, you know what? I say that you sound like an old man, but I have been victim. Like I go to a Yankee game. Like I'll go to a Yankee game. Aaron Judge is up. I'm trying to sit there. I want to record it. Like I'm watching it through my phone, not really locked in. Like I'll be looking down at my phone, I hear the track of bat, everybody goes crazy, and I kind of look up from my phone. So that means I kind of missed it, but also got it at the same time. So I guess I know where you're coming from.
I don't know. It bothers me that it bothers me because that's such a little stupid thing, and I know I'm sure I would probably wind up doing the same thing. So it's hypocritical too. It bothers me. But Yankees winning it all? Yankees winning it all?
I mean, listen, this might be their best chance. There's literally not a single team in the MLB this year that's like a runaway. Like usually every year, there's like you can look at a couple teams and be like, oh yeah, they're 100% the best team. Like this is going to be the first time since like 2000 something, like 6 or something, I don't know, that there's not going to be a 100 win team in the MLB. I mean, the Yankees are literally under 500 in their last 75 games and have a 3-game lead in the AL East and are tied for the best record in baseball.
Yeah, I saw the Cubs were sucking after the All-Star break, and then I looked at the standings. They were only 5.5 games out. I was like, how is that?
Yeah, no, there is definitely no unbelievable team this season. Believe it or not, I mean the Mets have been incredible.
Yeah, they turned it around.
But they started off so bad that it affected them. But they're probably gonna make them. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting play.
I like the Phillies, man. Schwarber has been sending that thing every week.
I mean, Judge got 52 of them things.
Yeah, no, Judge, but I'm just saying Schwarber's hot right now, and we're getting close to time. And if he stays hot, I like the Phillies.
I was hoping Judge was going to go and try and break his record again, but then
that would have been so cool.
Little 16-game homerless slump. In fact, I'm going to the game next Thursday. Yankees Orioles. That's the last game of the series. That's what I'm saying. And the tickets were free. Shout out the Renegades. Who, by the way, shout out the Renegades. They are they're in the championship series right now. I got a game to work tomorrow.
You gonna get a ring if they win?
I don't get a ring. Part-time does not get a ring.
Behind the scenes doesn't get a ring.
Part-time behind the scenes doesn't get a ring.
Okay.
I do, but what's funny? I do have a replica of the ring from 2017. That was a giveaway at the stadium this year, and I got it. Actually, I got a Yankee and a Renegade replica right next to each other on my drawer, right to the left of me. But anyway, listen, let's get into things people might care about a little bit more than my fake rings or my replica rings. Let's start Monday Night Football. Obviously, we'll break down some of the things that happened in week 2, but I figure Monday Night Football starts here in about a half hour. People want to know what to do. Maybe you're betting on it. Lines at 5.5 right now. I've been told that 5 is a dead line. But if I was betting it, probably the Eagles. A.J. Brown is out. Kirk Cousins looked terrible, and he's also started his career 0-9 on Monday Night Football. He's 3-1 since, so he's kind of turned it around. You got to be fair and give credit where credit is due. But he looked awful last week. Then again, they had to go to the silent count in their home stadium. But it's not like it's going to be any better today because they're in Philly, and we all know that Philly fans probably do about half an 8 ball before every game. So it'll be quite loud in that game. I'm going to have to imagine. Like I said, A.J. Brown out. I'm expecting a nice game here from Dallas Goedert. Expecting a
I
nice
was going
game
to say
from Dallas.
Devontae Smith.
Well,
I'm expecting.
no. I was going to say Devontae Smith too, but I'm just saying, they got a pretty good secondary they do over there in Atlanta.
They do.
I believe they signed Jesse Bates.
They already had Jesse Bates.
They had Jesse Bates.
One of the two. It's one of the two. They had one.
Whatever. Have Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. They got AJ Terrell.
Yeah.
So I mean, they got a pretty solid secondary. I know they traded for Judon from the Patriots. Before the season started. They still have Grady Jarrett. So they got some players over there on defense. But I just think the Eagles, Saquon, Devonta Smith. You might got to remember they have Jahan Dotson now that they traded for from the Commanders before the season started. Like I said, Dallas Goedert. And, of course, Jalen Hurts is always a threat to run with his legs, although he has not done it a lot. Ever since he got injured a couple years ago, he hasn't really been a big runner. For a while, it looked like he was going to be, a big-time rushing threat. He kind of slowed it down on that end, but
smart for the career. Smart for
the career. Brilliant for the career.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think the Eagles end up coming out on top, but I will say it also does make me nervous just because the Eagles defense has not been good since the end of last season. They gave up a lot of points to the Packers, and now obviously the Packers did have Jordan Love at the time, but the Packers this week barely scored too many points against the Colts defense. So the Eagles gave up, I don't know, 30-something, I want to say, was it? When they win, like 36-31 or something?
I think it was closer than that. It was a one-score game, I know that, because I took the Packers. But
I thought the Packers needed a touchdown to win. So I thought, I don't know, but whatever. So the Eagles defense does make me nervous, but I would still end up going with the Eagles in this one. And like I said, Falcons defense should be good, but I don't know. Kirk Cousins just doesn't seem 100%, even at 100%. It's a primetime game for Kirk. Hasn't been good in the history.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. I feel like this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a good defensive matchup, a good running back matchup, really, because if Saquon can do a lot of the same stuff he did, against the Packers, hopefully we get to see Bijan, because I feel like he's just, waiting to be let out of the cage and just go crazy at some point. Like we've all just been waiting for that. But I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm also going to take the Eagles. I couldn't have been more wrong about everything I said before week one about the entire NFC South. So I don't know about
the Falcons. The best team in the NFL through 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they're averaging over 40 points a game. And I said team stunk. They do not stink at all. But, yeah, I'm a rock with Philly. I think Devontae is going to have a monster game. I think he's going to go off.
Let's quickly go through some things in week 2 of the NFL. Obviously, you kind of started off Thursday night. Obviously, the big news out of there is Tua with another concussion. And, not a little baby one either. That's what I'm, the whole fencing position thing and everything of that nature. I think he's supposed to be meeting with like a neuro specialist. I thought it was today. I mean, listen, I know he had some conversations with his family, I think, a couple seasons ago when he suffered those 2 back concussions in like 2 weeks about retiring and everything like that. You suffer another one. I mean, I did see something that he has no plans on retiring. Listen, if he did, don't blame him whatsoever. Like everybody keeps saying, there's life after football, and you want to have that quality of life actually be something. You don't want to end up, I mean, it's obvious, you just don't want to end up how bad it can be.
Like, yeah, we've seen there's a reason it's a big problem, and the NFL focuses so much now on player safety because we've now seen the long-term effects about it and what it does to people. And listen, I can tell you what the neurosurgeon is going to say. He said, you shouldn't play anymore. You really should not. I think it just really comes down to, and sadly, I think it becomes an identity crisis, when you start thinking about life after football, especially how young he is, the contract he just got, what he's projecting his career to be. And, like, they've been football players since the day they started playing football. Like, that's all they've been since then, and rightfully so. He's a hell of a player, There's a reason he got the contract. He's been really good for this team for the most part. And, I just hope that, he makes a smart decision. Do I want to see him walk away? Yes and no. I want him to be healthy. And, if these hits like that keep happening, it's not going to mean anything good further down the line. But I just
You know
would
what I
hate to
kind of
not be able
truly,
to see him play.
you know what I kind of like truly wonder is
Huh.
if he was on a no, it's no offense here, Josh, but if he was on the Panthers, does this change his mind? Oh,
I
would
think
you
it
just
does.
retire? Because
I-
not even the contract situation, because obviously he would be giving up a lot of money, and you understand that. But I'm sure by now he's made enough money that he's not gonna have to worry for the rest of his life.
Right. Absolutely.
But I wonder if it's the fact that you're on the Dolphins, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Jalen Waddle,
Mike
H.
McDaniel's
Chandler.
such a fun coach to play for. Such a fun.
You have a good coach. H. Chandler looks good. You have such a good team around you that I wonder if it's bro, I'm really gonna sit here and retire when I have a legitimate playoff team year in and year out for the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how much that goes into it as well. But obviously something to keep an eye on. Seahawks beat the Pats in overtime. A little disappointed. Disappointed.
Team's a lot better than I thought they would be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Disappointed and not disappointed because the Patriots defense, listen, I will say this, gave up a ton of yards. An absolute shit ton of yards. You just look at DK, 10 for 129, a touchdown. I think Jackson Smith and Jigba had over 100 yards as well. Geno threw for 327. Only gave up 23 points, though.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, that's kind of that as weird as that sounds, that reminds me of the Super Bowl defenses the Patriots always had.
Bend, don't break.
Patriots were the kings of bend, don't break. I remember it was so weird watching Patriot games and being a fan of them for the longest time because you would sit there and be like, oh my God, this defense is terrible. They're giving up yard because you look at dominant defense, 3 and outs, turnovers, things of that nature, blah, 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 whatever. And you look at the Patriots and oh, here we go. Oh yeah, Josh. You look at the Patriot defenses. They give up 250. They give up 300 yards or whatever, and then you would look at the final score and it was 15-30 or 16-28, something like that. And I'd be like, oh, interesting development there.
Hurt my knee very bad. Banged it on my desk trying to get up to close the window because people love to mow around 7:00 where I live. Hurt my knee real bad.
We got up, Josh. We got up that fast and abruptly because you were trying to close the window.
It wasn't even fast and abruptly. I just didn't realize how close I was to my desk. So the turn, not even fast turn, just whipped it right into the.
Because it sounded like you were panicked.
No, I was trying to get up, and then the knee hit, and there was a stumble.
Oh,
It was a bad series.
It's not what you want.
It was my least athletic performance in quite a while. I don't have my knee, but that was a bad showing.
Fair enough. But yeah, Seahawks got the win. Geno Smith played well. Patriots, a lot of bend, don't break, and listen, let me tell you something. That pass interference on Jonathan Jones, unacceptable. Unacceptable by the refs.
Very controversial pass interferences through these first couple of weeks.
There has been. Saints absolutely dismantled the Cowboys, 44-19. This man Alvin Kamara has 4 touchdowns. He looks like the Kamara of old.
Who's their OC? A younger Kubiak? Is that who their OC is?
I don't know, honestly. I should probably know that.
Whoever their OC is, he's probably on a lot of teams' radars right now that are thinking.
You got Derek Carr dropping 70-yard bombs.
Just dimes.
Absolute dots to Rashid.
Rashid Shaheed is a monster.
Rashid Shaheed. I picked him up in fantasy. Gonna have to start him over Michael Pittman Jr., who's absolutely terrible. Let's see. Obviously, Josh, at any point, stop it. I'm just gonna kind of run through these. Bucks and the Lions, 26-16. Listen, Baker might not have had a great start to the career, although he did lead the Browns to the playoffs for the first time since Vietnam was still going on. But might have found a home over there with the Bucks. Might have found a home.
And it sucks. It really sucks for me. But I'm happy for him. And that's a perfect guy to help prolong Mike Evans' career, too, and keep him putting up numbers because Baker is not afraid to give a guy a chance. A lot of quarterbacks will go out there and like if it's not the most open thing, they'll be like that's a bad read. But when it's guys like Mike Evans, it's almost never a bad read unless there are two guys glued to him. Like he's always got the advantage over any corner out there. But yeah, that was a very interesting game because you look at how well Aiden Hutchinson played. You know all the pressure he was getting. Yeah, but I mean, Goff just had a bad day, bad decision making. You know, every time they looked like they were putting something together, something went terribly wrong. It was a tough game for them.
Speaking of tough games, the Colts at the Packers. Listen, I thought the Colts were going to honestly win this game handedly. But, I mean, we might have some trouble in the Anthony Richardson campaign. 3 interceptions. The man is not accurate with the football, makes some bad decisions, and talk about not being able to stop a nosebleed. If you can run the ball at all, you can run the ball against the Colts. I mean, what they do, give up like 151 rushing yards in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, you
that
just look there.
Half for 3 days, they could not do anything wrong. Like that offense, every play, it was like, oh yeah, that's another 15-yard game.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. You know, like you just look at it. Josh Jacobs had 32 carries. Like, what is this? 1964?
Yeah, that's me on a my career mode in Madden.
Literally. Jets got the first win in the Aaron Rodgers era. Another comedy turnover by Will Levis.
He's got to hit the hat trick next week. He has to. We need one.
I hope so. I think it would be
his legacy's on the line if he doesn't.
Head coach literally said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
he's so fun, man. I love it. We have to have a quarterback like that in the league at all times. It was Wentz for a year. I can't recall currently who it was a couple years after, but now we got Levis out here making these plays. Who?
Zach Wilson.
No, I don't think he was making those plays.
It was Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was making some terrible decisions.
But they weren't funny, terrible decisions. They were like, oh, that's just a terrible,
you might have a point there.
Decision.
You might have a point there.
Yeah.
Another surprise here, 23-17, the Vikings get the dub. And, I mean, the injuries are piling up now. 49ers CMC, we just saw recently, Deebo Samuel's going to miss a couple weeks with a calf strain now. What was it, week 1 or week 2 that, Trent Williams missed a couple plays because it looked like he was hurt for a little bit. I mean, obviously he came back, but still, I mean, listen, you lose CMC and Deebo, you're like,
That's tough. That's. I mean, it's now a lot more pressure on Purdy than he's really ever had because now it is about the plays that he can make.
My guy CJ in here. He said, "Josh, my brother." CJ, we missed you. We'll see you next week.
What up, CJ?
Like I said at the beginning of the show, one of these weeks, all 3 of us are going to be here. But hey, that's the whole point of having the 3 of us. Somebody might have to fill in one of these days. Maybe one day I won't be here. One of you guys are going to have to run the show.
Exactly.
Giants and the Commies, as my guy Peter Rosenberg from the Michael K Show always says. 21-18. Giants, first team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, give up 0 touchdowns, and lose the game.
That is a stat you never, ever want to be a part of. Ever.
The Commanders kicked 6 field goals and won the game.
Yeah, it was ugly.
I guess I didn't. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. Even though this game is literally on local television, it was not on mine because I had the Sunday ticket locked in.
I did watch this game. I did watch a lot of this game. It was part of my parlay.
You had to have money on it.
Yeah, Commanders were in my parlay, but the 49ers made that irrelevant by the time this game became, down to the wire. Good game for the rookies though in this one. Malik Neighbors, real deal, even without a comparable quarterback. And Jaden Daniels, that man can run, and that's going to be a problem when he gets more comfortable throwing the ball. Learns the reads and all that, because him outside the pocket is going to be very dangerous for a long time. If he can stay healthy, he tries to do some moves cutting back to the inside when he's on the sideline, and you're just asking for you're going to get a flag, but you're also going to, maybe go in the blue tent for a little bit, which we don't want to see.
No, we do not. Word to this comment, CJ said, keep pounding. Pause. Um, Josh, the Panthers are the worst team I've seen in a long time. Um, 26-3, they lose to the Chargers. You got J.K. Dobbins doing front flips into the end zone. The man couldn't stay healthy. You have Quentin Johnston catching passes against them. And this man couldn't catch a cold last year. Now he's catching 2 touchdown passes. They benched Bryce Young. I'm genuinely shocked by that. Like, he's your number 1 overall pick from last year. Listen, has it been pretty? No, I believe they're 2-18 in his career so far, something of that nature. I think that's the 3rd worst winning percentage of all time. Shout out to Sean Kaiser for being 0-16. So I think that record will be safe. But I am kind of shocked here. Andy Dalton, the backup, who is now obviously the main quarterback, but just the fact that they traded away their entire franchise and then benched him. Well, I mean, listen, is it his fault? A lot of it, because I've seen some decisions he's made, and it is not good.
Yeah.
And in fact, I saw another stat today too that was like he's only been pressured on like 26% of
this game. Yeah.
Well, and they still only scored 3 points.
Yeah. No. Listen. I couldn't have been more wrong in my prediction for the Panthers, and that's the last time I will let them fool me with off-season hype.
Fool me once.
I said 8 wins. That's got to be like the coldest take of the season so far. 8 wins. I had this team winning 8 games. We might be lucky to score 8 touchdowns the whole season.
You know what, Josh? Honestly, I think, Josh, in a way, you did it to yourself too, because if you remember when you were I wanted you to make the prediction and you said no, I don't want to. You're gonna be, mean to me. You should have just let me be mean to you, so you never made the prediction.
You were gonna be mean regardless. It didn't matter if I said no words, if I said more words, if I said a couple less words.
You should have. I was trying to save you, kid. I was trying to save you.
No, you weren't. You weren't.
I looked into the future.
Listen, I've defended Bryce Young this whole time. Like, even going back to before the draft, when it was CJ or Bryce, I said, with CJ, you know what you're going to get. With Bryce, the possibilities are endless. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what he can do. Last year, it was just bad all around. It was unfair to him, and the team was just bad. This year, game 1, he was bad, but even if he was good, we weren't going to win that game. We were not going to stop the Saints. That defense couldn't do anything against the Saints. This game, he was so bad. He was so bad. He missed Deontay on a crosser that would have got a first round on a simple rollout, flip your hips, make the play. He was missing guys downfield all day. Every time he would drop back, it was just either to the flat or we're getting sacked. I'm surprised he stayed in that whole game. I'm surprised they didn't put Andy in at the time, because people forget there was a sneaky last year where Bryce got benched. They called it an injury, but Bryce was pretty healthy, and Andy Dalton played against the Seahawks and had a really good game against the Seahawks. But
I do not.
I have to give props to Dave Canales. As much as I love Bryce Young, I'm a Panthers fan. I want the Panthers to look good. I don't just want it to be with Bryce. If Andy Dalton is, the answer, which we'll see maybe. Props to Dave Canales.
Until you got Arch Manning.
But do we even draft we bring another young quarterback into this dog crap organization that who knows?
You got to find a QB eventually.
It's not going to happen. We got to wait until the team gets sold. We're in the Browns era. We're going to have a jersey with all those names down to.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Look at what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are doing post Carolina. They're balling.
Matt Rule's even 2-0.
I owe Matt Rule an apology. I still think he stinks as an NFL coach, but I owe him an apology because it really wasn't all his fault. He had us.
You know what, Josh? Just a word of advice to the owners too. It might help, possibly, if you keep your good players.
That could help. That could help.
CMC in his prime.
Speaking of that, after I'm already down in the dumps Sunday after the Saints game, news breaks Derek Brown out for the season. Oh, that's fun. All right, let's go against the Chargers. Get beat up. All right, maybe next week. Oh, psych. Now the story of the week is your rookie quarterback, who's just probably going to go down as one of the biggest busts of all time, probably the worst trade of all
I
time.
was gonna say with all of the capital they put into him, plus him being awful at football, might be the worst. Might
And
be
if
the
that
biggest
is it,
of all time.
if that Chargers game is it, that's him as a Panther. That is the worst trade and worst decision. Like I think it tops Herschel Walker and Ricky Williams. I think it tops those
I mean,
moves.
I don't hate what you're saying. I hate it for you, but I don't hate what you're
I
saying.
hate it for me too, man. I wish the NBA started right now because like I was so excited for football. I barely enjoy the NFL now. Like the rest of those games, I was like watching them, and even when a big play happened, all my mind was like, dude, it'd be nice to like get a 10-yard cross pattern, just a ball thrown at it. It doesn't even have to be completed. Can we just maybe throw the ball past the first down marker? Maybe once or twice. Listen, I still think, Bryce in 3 years, he's probably going to lead the Rams to, a conference championship. I'm sure that'll happen because that's our luck. But I don't even know what to expect from this team anymore because I don't want another rookie quarterback. I don't want Quinn Ewers, I don't want the Georgia quarterback, Carson Beck. I don't want him because we're just going to ruin him. We're just going to keep ruining these young quarterbacks.
You might have to pull the who was it that they made the team good and then finally drafted the quarterback? Somebody did it a few years ago. I can't remember who it is.
Then drafted a young quarterback?
Yeah, like the team was actually pretty decent, but their quarterback was just terrible. And then they finally drafted a quarterback, and now they're good. Or they were good. I don't remember. I can't remember now. And it was like everybody was
on a team that drafted a quarterback, and
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of things. Maybe I'm thinking of things. I don't know.
Listen, this team is bad, and like you said, it would help to keep our good players, but we kind of only have two good players, I would say, right now. I think Derek Brown, who's out for the season, and J.C. Horn, who got beat on a go route by Quentin Johnston for a touchdown, but the very next drive he got a crazy athletic interception, so he got his revenge. Those are really our only two guys where I'm like, hey, if we're blowing it up, let's keep these two guys because they're really, really good. And if you trade them, you're going to get pennies on the dollar because that's just all the Panthers can do is not make good trades. So I don't know, man. It just sucks. It sucks. I hate the owner. I don't know if I hate or like Dave Canales because I don't know if this offense is good or not. I don't. Well, this Sunday is going to be a big test. I mean, granted, they say our O-line is good. We'll see about that with Max Crosby. And, I'm not going to let one game dictate how bad that offensive line was, for most of week one. I mean, we put money into it, but I don't know, man. Just so many things wrong with this team. We're looking at a decade-long rebuild coming, and we weren't. It's not like we were good and then people got old. We were like bad, and then we got a couple pieces, so let's add to it. And then we tried to add to it by getting rid of all those good pieces, and so now
now you're generationally bad.
Like we should be relegated. Like we shouldn't.
I did say that. I said that. I did say that in a group chat. I said the Panthers should literally be relegated to the CFL.
I mean, I know a lot of people say could this college team beat an NFL team? I think maybe Georgia 2 years ago could beat the crap out of this current Panthers team. I think that this is how bad they are. It's upsetting.
Are we looking at the first ever 0-17?
No, we'll squeeze one out somehow.
All right. Fair enough.
Maybe. I don't know. It's got to take a really bad performance from someone else. It's not going to be us doing good. It's going to be someone else being worse than us that day. We're going to have our day. And guess what? I am going to bet on the Panthers every Sunday for the rest of the season because the money line.
I mean, honestly, if you bet like $100, all it takes is one. You might break even.
That's all I'm saying. When we wind up playing, who do we have the rest of the season? I don't know who our biggest, I don't know who the 17.5-point spread is going to be against, but it's coming. It's coming.
Now that you say it, I'm kind of curious what the Panthers schedule is.
We were plus 124 against the Saints, and we closed at plus 200 against the Chargers.
Let's see. You got the Raiders next, loss.
I said we'd start 3-0. We're getting outscored 61-13 through 2 games, through 8 quarters.
Listen, Josh, right at this current moment, let's play the win-loss, win game.
It's going to be real quick. It's going to be
all right. Let's go quick. Raiders.
Loss.
Bengals,
Loss.
Bears.
Loss.
Even with how bad the Bears
Loss.
offense
That's
is.
going to be where Caleb goes off for 305 total touchdowns. That's just how it's going to go.
Falcons,
Loss.
Commanders,
Loss.
Broncos,
Loss.
Saints,
Loss.
Giants in Munich.
Win. That's going to be how we get it. We can't do it in America. It's not getting done in the US of A. It's just not going to happen. We got to go to Germany to figure out a way. We can tamper with them there. We're going to smoke bomb their locker room.
I want to know right now because the week after the Giants in Munich, you come back and you play the Chiefs. What is the spread in that game?
28.5 first half spread for the Chiefs. 20. That's first half. The over-under is 75.5. Our team total is going to be 6.5. That's how bad it's going to look, man. Because even after we lose, something else happens on Monday or Tuesday where it's like, oh, another loss, and it's not even close to game day.
Then you got the Bucks again.
Loss.
Eagles.
Huge loss.
The Cowboys.
That's going to be a close one. We're probably going to lose by. We're
No,
probably only going to lose by 14 in that one. We're probably only going to lose by 14.
Okay. Then you play the Cards.
Loss. Kyler's going to go crazy.
Then you play the Bucks again, and then the Falcons again.
Yeah. The point differential at week 17 is going to be astronomical. The number that it's going to be that the Panthers have been outscored by. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Listen, I hope Andy Dalton can turn the clock back because, I said Dave Canales fixed it with Geno and Baker, but that's like, going from winning with, two good organizations and like, all right, now turn around the worst thing you've ever. Go to this Pop Warner team that hasn't won a game in 100 years and make them state champions. Like,
all right, Josh, I know you got to be out of here in a few minutes.
Oh, it is. Yep.
All right. Browns, you got the win there. Nothing too crazy. Deshaun didn't play like an absolute bum. I guess that's some kind of news. Raiders with the big upset. Ravens starting off 0-2. I mean, they're going to bounce back, I imagine. But
that Raiders team's very good. Antonio Pierce has that team balling.
I think they're they're playing your boys, so could be ugly.
Yeah, take that spread, whatever it is. Take it.
Honestly,
I think more on it. Maybe
I'm not even gonna lie. I think right now it's only like 6.5.
I would bump that up to 20.5. I would bump
even
it
with
up.
Andy Dalton now.
I would bump it up. Prove me wrong, Andy Dalton. Please, I'm begging you to make me. I'm an idiot when I say you're going to do good. So now I'm saying we are the worst of all time. Prove me wrong again, please. Please.
Cardinals dismantled the Rams. Man, Marvin Harrison Jr. First quarter popped off 4 for 130 and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. I know. He said, "Are you happy with the performance?" Like, I think Kyler only had 4 incompletions and they were all to me. Gonna have to fix that. I respect it.
Love that.
Let's see. Steelers beat the Broncos. That Steelers defense, as we always know, is a problem. Offense is still absolutely terrible.
Justin Fields hasn't looked terrible, though. Justin Fields has not looked terrible.
No.
He's had good plays, but there's a flag on every good play he has.
Speaking of flags, listen, I'm not saying it was a bad call, but the Chiefs beat the Bengals 26-25 on a game-winning field goal. I have never in my life seen a team, good flag or bad flag, that gets it in the moment where they need it more than the Chiefs. I've never seen anything like it.
Happens for winners, Maybe it's a snow game where the quarterback fumbles and the whole league changes a rule for it, Maybe it's something like that.
I don't like what you're trying to imply here.
I'm just saying, it's crazy how things like that happen. But you cannot make any single errors against the Chiefs. If you do, they're going to put 21 points on you in a hurry. You just can't make mistakes. Whether it's your fault or the ref's fault, there cannot be mistakes in the game against the Chiefs. Just can't happen.
And then we ended week 2 with the Texans beating the Bears and Caleb Williams playing absolutely awful football.
Hey, listen, we all agreed on it week 1. If he's not amazing right out the gate, don't panic. He's a rookie. That offensive line isn't great. He hasn't.
I will say though, some of these is getting the college out of him though, because brother, I hate to break it to you, the people you were playing in
this isn't Washington State's 2-star corners.
I was gonna say Like some of those kids are probably
Alabama's best guy. Like
some of
this.
those kids are probably going to end up going on to be a welder
Yeah.
or a math teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're
all
gonna talk to that safety you threw that go ball on about about a house. Like that's how that's
yeah. Like your wide receiver mossed, you know, the next
my
auto
son's
call.
second grade teacher. Like that's just how it goes.
Like, you know, I used to play college football. I played against Caleb one time. You know, that's who you were playing against. These are all
Listen,
NFL
I will
players.
say, if I was Northern Illinois quarterback, you could never tell me anything for the rest of my life. If I knocked off number 5 Notre Dame, you could never tell me anything.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, that's living in infamy forever. All right, quickly, let's make some week 3 picks and get out of here. We kick it off Thursday night football. Patriots at the Jets. The Jets are going to win this game, but I'm telling you right now, the Patriots are covering the spread.
What's the spread?
6.5 on ESPN bet, but nobody uses that. Nobody uses ESPN.
This screams, 3 to 5 point game. Like this is what that screams. Because the Jets offense isn't as good as we all kind of maybe wanted to see.
The defense is very good, but I will admit the Patriots offense does not look very good. Well, their passing game does not look very good.
Ramondre and Gibson, that's a nice little duo so far through 2 weeks.
Drake May might change something, but whatever.
It's Jacoby.
Giants at the Browns. I will take the Browns here because I think the Giants are just awful.
Yep. Give me the Browns as well.
Packers and the Titans. I think the Titans finally get a win here, mainly because I still don't have faith in Malik Neighbors, and I think the Titans will actually be able to stop the run, unlike what the Colts did. So Malik will actually be forced to, pass the ball as a quarterback usually has to do. And I think that is their downfall.
I think Malik Willis is going to prove you wrong because you said Neighbors. You don't even know about him. So he's going to shut you up and he's going to be like, oh, Titans, you already moved on from me? Watch this 11 for 23, 130 yards, 1 touchdown game for a dub. Give me the Packers.
Bears and the Colts. I will take the Colts until the Bears actually do something. Although, like I said, Anthony Richardson is kind of awful.
Yeah, if the Colts would have won one of their first 2 games, I probably would have rocked with the Bears here. But the Colts are going to be, really locked in. They need a win here. So I'm going with the Colts too.
Texans and the Vikings. I'll take the Texans because I boldly predicted they're the number 1 seed in the NFL this year. And you can't lose to Sam Darnold if you're going to be, especially with Justin Jefferson being day-to-day with a little thigh contusion.
I'm going with the Vikings. I saw what Brian Flores, loaded up against San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan. If Shanahan didn't have answers for it, I do not think Houston is going to have answers for Brian Flores either.
Eagles at the Saints. Listen, I'm going to take the Saints. I'm kind of locked in on them. Listen, the Eagles defense has been a little scary the past few years. Or the last year and even last week. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to see how they play tonight against the Falcons. So I guess it's a little bit early. Maybe they lock down all of a sudden. But I could see another 70-yard bomb from Derek Carr.
I'm also going to go with the Saints, not because I think that offense is going to do what it did the first 2 weeks, but I really like their defense. I think their secondary has been playing really, really well. So I'm going to go with the Saints too.
Chargers and the Steelers. I guess it really wouldn't matter if this game was in LA. Steelers fans will travel. I'm going to go with the Steelers because I think their defense is just so dominating. And I think, although, I will say Joe All handled Max Crosby like he was a child. But I just don't think you're going to be able to do that against TJ Watt if they end up moving him around. TJ Watt is a grown-ass man. So I'll probably go with the Steelers, especially because they're home. Although I like what Harbaugh's doing, man.
Yeah, I'm going with the Steelers as well, but that is because I have more confidence because if the Panthers offense could have put a drive together and that defense didn't have to be out there every 2 seconds, I think they hold them to a lot less points. I think the Steelers offense is more, not, going to blow them out, but more capable of that than we were. And like you said, their defense, with Highsmith and Watt off the edges, I think is going to be real problems for the rookie Joe Alt. So I'm going to go with the Steelers too.
Broncos and the Bucks. Give me the Bucks. They're playing some great football.
Yeah, I agree.
Panthers and the Raiders. Skip that one.
Skip.
Yeah. Panthers are the worst team in football. Dolphins and the Seahawks. Obviously, no Tua, no chance. Skylar
I'm
Thompson.
going to go with Seattle, but I think in a couple weeks Tyler Huntley learns that offense a little bit more. I think the Dolphins as an underdog are going to be interesting because I like Tyler Huntley. I think he's good.
Two teams with their backs against the wall slightly. Ravens don't want to start 0-3, but the Cowboys, 2 home losses in a row after winning 16 home games in a row would be certainly something. But I'm going to take the Ravens.
Me too.
49ers and the Rams. Listen, both of these teams are legitimately limping into this game. You're going to have no Cooper Kupp. You're going to have no Puka Nacua. You're going to have basically no – I was going to say you're going to have basically no offensive line. 49ers just don't have Debo and CMC. Give me the 49ers here.
Me too.
Lions and the Cards. The Cards are playing some good football, my brother. With that being said, I'm still taking the Lions.
Give me Cardinals.
The Chiefs and the Falcons. Listen, Falcons might be cute and all that. We'll see what happens tonight, but they're not beating the Chiefs. Stop it.
Back-to-back primetime Kirk Cousins. Yeah, give me the other team.
It could be scary hours. Jags at the Bills.
We got double header.
We do have a double header on Monday. I don't know why. Weeks 3 and 4, I believe.
Wild.
I will take the Bills, though, as Josh Allen continues to play Superman. But, hey, James Cook, you're looking mighty good there, brother.
I do have a little nice parlay for Chiefs to win it all. Josh Allen MVP. I like the way it's starting. Give me the Bills, too.
Commanders and the Bengals. I don't see the Bengals starting out 0-3. So I will take them in this game.
I could see them starting 0-3, but I'm gonna go with the Bengals because that would just be a dumb pick. But I would be shocked, but not as shocked as most people would be.
As some of the pundits out there, as they say. Listen, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. A little. I say abbreviated episode. It was still 50 minutes, so we did our thing. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. CJ, my brother, I'm sure we'll see you next week. Josh, it was a pleasure as always. Make sure you follow everybody down there below, just there at the bottom ticker. CJames9_, Anthony Conover _ Jolin_4 for Josh. Pleasure, everybody. And listen, we'll see you on the next one, all right?